Enemies aren't just people that stand against us, they're villains. They're bad. We're good, they're bad. We imbue that word with a whole pile of stuff that it isn't. And we do that because the origin of the word enemy actually comes from inimicus, which is a Latin word that means not friend. That's all it means, not friend. So let's say this a little differently then. Love your friends and love your not friends. That sounds like it's easier, isn't it? Of course it does. But then we start using the word enemy, and enemy is something different. Enemy is about something or someone that's evil, that stands against you. For instance, when we go to war, we have enemies. Of course, because we have enemies, we can now load up that word with a whole bunch of stuff, because I want you on my side, and I want you to want to fight this enemy. So now I'm going to tell you more so that you'll want to, so that you're literally driven to want to fight the enemy. You have now totally lost all respect for them as human beings. In fact, you probably don't think of them as human beings because I've driven you to the point where they're not a human, they're an enemy. But that's not what an enemy is. An enemy is simply someone who started out as not friend. You learned to make them an enemy. We learn that. And we learn it, sometimes we learn it from experiences that we feel are right. Sometimes we learn it from experiences that aren't, but we learn it. Nelson Mandela famously, and I'm absolutely paraphrasing, but famously said that we're not born to hate. We learn it. We learn to hate. I would have added to that and said, I think our default setting, we are born in love. That's our birth setting. Think about it, we're made in the image of God. If we believe that, we must be made in the image of love at birth. We learn something else. And Mandela says, we learn to hate. If we can learn to hate, then surely we can learn to love. It is the experience that we have. It's the manner in which we engage people. It's the relationships we either develop or we don't develop, and how we develop them. And here's Jesus saying, love your enemy. Loving your friends is easy. Love your enemy. Here's Jesus saying, love that person who is not your friend. Love those persons who are not your friends. Love your enemy. That's so hard because, you do that and then they just kick you again and again and again. Or you show love to your enemy and what do you lose? Well, you win. You mean nothing. You lose is what happens. You lose. But Jesus didn't say love your enemy because it will change them. He says love your enemy because it changes you.